Hello, welcome. As you saw there, I was printing and then cutting these bad boys, and these are for my new to me van. Now, my van is a big white Dodge Caravan, and so that it does not evoke any ice cream truck vibes or I don't know, kidnapper vibes, I'm going with one of my favorite I guess you would call them a villain in a film, the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man. We'd sit around the campfire and roast Stay-Puft marshmallows. Could never hurt us. Oh, don't we know better? So, in this video, I will be making some things that I could not purchase online. I tried. I tried to purchase a number of decals, and I did purchase some decals that I will show you that I am not making. Let me see here. So this is very hard to see, but you can kind of see it's the outline of the Ghostbusters. That was a bonus for this bad boy, which is Stay-Puft and a couple sticky people and a puggy, and it says there is no family, only Zool. I purchased that from somebody. And now I purchased this, and as you can see, it's got a white outline. And when I purchased this, the intention was to put it on the back window. And that's going to look like crap. So I'm making my own, as you can see here. And I'll just do something else with that one. And I did purchase this little guy who is adorable. And I don't know if I'm going to put him on the van. I may just put him on something else because he's cute. So those are the ones I purchased. And I also tried purchasing a license plate frame to go around the license plate, which I'm still waiting on. It was a used car. However, they could not find the plates. And I believe because this was a formal rental out of Oklahoma, the plates were probably not California plates anyway. So, I could not find a suitable license plate frame that I liked that fit the theme. So I picked up these, and we're going to add some vinyl decals to them. Because the only ones I could find online said they were either this color, this orangey yellow, and said my other ride is the Ecto one, or they were just plain black and just said Ghostbusters. And I wanted them to be specifically a Stay-Puft theme. Now, if you don't know what the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man looks like, 1, shame on you. 2, that is what the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man looks like. So what I did there was tedious amounts of Photoshop work that I am saving you from. opening these up. And I have the hardware. It's just elsewhere right now. So we're going to put, there's one for the front, one for the back. We're going to put a couple of words up here and the bulk of the words down here. But first, I have to weed them. So I did all the cutting. That's what you saw. You saw me specifically cutting this one, which I had already printed out yesterday to make sure it had plenty of time to dry. Now, this is printable vinyl. It is rated for outdoor use. It is quite glossy. And I'm just not sure how well it will do in the elements. So I have this transparent vinyl. It looks like white because it's got a white background, but I promise you it is transparent. And I cut, you can't see it now, but I will show you when we get there. Just a little bit around the edges of all three of, or all of these, 5 of these, so that I could put this clear protective coating over it before putting it on the van. So that's what we're going to do. Now, one of my biggest gripes with print and cut on the Cricut is the available area of print and cut, which has definitely gotten better. This is tremendous that it's only wasting an inch or so over here and a couple inches at the bottom. It used to be way smaller than this, and that was a royal pain in the ass. Because it just seemed like a lot of wasted space. Because you can't, you know, once I cut this, I can't feed it back through my printer, so this is all just waste. And I hate doing that. I have a one of those 12 by 12 boxes that you see at Michael's. A lot of times they're Iris brand or they're Art Bin brand. I have one of those that is just vinyl scraps because, you know, all of this vinyl that's not being used over here in this area, I will keep because you never know when there's something small that you just need a little bit of vinyl for. And it would come in handy. Also, there are scrap projects to be made. So what my intention for these are is that these will go, these two are for the license plate frame. This one, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use, but the intention is to put it on the gear shift because the gear shift in a 2019 Dodge Grand Caravan is up here. It's not down here where I'm used to, frankly. But it's up here, and because this is a used car and it was a rental, the actual gears are kind of worn off of it, so it's just a black knob. So I might put this bad boy on it and see if it stays and if it's not like super annoying. This guy is going to go on the back window on the opposite side of the Zool family, which will go on the left. This dude will go on the right. This will go somewhere in the center, like parallel to the actual license plate. And like I said, these two guys are going on the license plate frame. So because I have this clear, what I'm going to attempt to do here is I'm going to try to reverse weed this. So I'm going to take off the excess so it's just these stuck to the page and then put the clear over them so that when I get ready to like actually take them off the backing with the transfer tape and put them on the car, I can just peel them off like one decal. Hopefully that made sense. So my tools over here, this was just something that the Hubs printed on his 3D printer for me, a little like pencil holder. And I painted it using some paint markers. So it's not great, but it's, you know, it gets the job, the point across. All right, so we're going to use this, and hopefully this reflection is not terrible. I was doing some tests. Oh, so I have the words So I told you about the clears, the clear overlays, I should say. And I have all the words. You're not really going to be able to see it until I weed them off. But I have the words that are going to go on the license plate frame here. And then what I also have, and I will show you and share my screen here, is share screen, window. Oh no. Okay. Let me bring this up. All right. Can I share this? Not going to claim to be a professional because I'm not. All right. So there we go. So I had this patch that I bought years ago with the intention of putting it on the Ghostbuster costume that I was putting together for the hubs. Then I found the font and made him one with our actual last name. Not a patch, just like a printed iron-on to go on it. So I had this patch, and it resurfaced when I was pulling stuff out to put into the van. And I put it here, which is kind of the above center console in the van. Like this here, if you can see my cursor, is where like your sunglasses would go. But I put it here because all the stickies that I tried sticking to like the dashboard, that was originally where I was going to put it, won't stick to the dashboard. And I have these like museum jelly like stickers, and they wouldn't stick there either. So I put it up here on this totally flat surface. I'm sorry, flat. By flat, I mean non-textured surface. And they stayed. And I got the idea. Let me stop sharing this and show you this. The idea that I got was, what if I did that on the center console that goes through the back of the van? Now, the center console that goes through the back of the van has blue underlights, which is just chef's kiss. Great. So let me share this. I designed these. And so I have another stance because I don't know how many back. But so the thing about that surface is that I don't want to put permanent vinyl on it because I probably want to resell this van at some point. And that would be a pain in the ass. Now, putting the permanent vinyl on the window is real easy to like take a razor blade and scrape off. But putting the vinyl on the interior is trickier. So what I am doing here to stop this and show you back here again is what I'm doing here is I have removable vinyl that I printed just the background, or I'm sorry, I cut just the background rectangles out of, and this will be very easy to remove. This removable vinyl is made for like laptops, and it's made to be able to remove without a lot of adhesive left over. This is Oracal 631. I don't think you can see because of the glares and whatnot. Let me.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you...
Nobody's talking to you, Siri. Okay, so you can see it's Oracal 631. And whereas this is not Oracal brand, but most of the professional, here you go, is Oracal 651. And that is the 651 is permanent, 631 is removable. And it's kind of annoying because 631 is matte and 651 is glossy. And to my knowledge, I have yet to be able to find a matte that's permanent or a glossy that's removable. So it is what it is. But I've got the lettering here in this red that looks orange on camera, but trust me, it's red. And then I'm going to put that onto this and layer it, and then put this onto the surface in the car so that it's Yeah, so that it's removable, but it looks vaguely like a patch. So that's the theory. That's what we're doing. I have these scrapers here to do the layering eventually. So the first thing that I'm gonna do actually is these are the scissors that came with my Cricut tool set. I probably got these before my Cricut Maker when I just got the Expression 2, before the Maker came out. So they're kind of old, but I find that they don't really work for much, honestly, because generally speaking, when I use scissors, I'm a big girl. I use big scissors, and these are kind of small. But these do come in handy for things like this, where we're going to cut the excess that we're not using off, because with the printable vinyl, all of this around the printed area is waste. We can't reuse that. We can't run it back through a printer. But this, like I said, you can always cut again. And especially if it's like bigger than an inch-ish, then I tend to save it and kind of cut just around so that it can be saved in my scraps bin. And for this particularly, since it is a scrap and at a first glance it looks like white, I'm gonna write transparent on it. Okay, set that aside. And then actually, to make this easier, I'm going to cut around the little pieces on this, since I'm putting these onto this. That's Stay-Puft. Okay. And then with this one, there's quite a bit of scrap space. And I also have I have this one little spot that's not for those. Woo! That is a razor thin edge. That's actually going to go. There's one word that's going to be on the blue license plate frame in red, which I know is like red, white, blue. It's a very patriotic, and that's not at all my intention. But I mean, he's a patriotic guy. He's a sailor. We're going about this wrong. He's in New York. We just got to get him laid. So yeah, and there's some on here, and kind of like you'll have to excuse the bright lights, because the reason for the bright lights is not just so you can see what I'm doing, although that is helpful, but it's also so I can see what I'm doing, because it's white on white on white. To you, this looks like nothing, but when I hold it up to my face, I can see the lines of the cut. You can kind of see that, the lines of the cut, where we're gonna weed that. That's white, and then I'll deal with the black later. So going to start. So what I have here also is a weeding tool, and this is also Cricut brand, but you can get these any number of places, and actually I will show you some that I got super dirt cheap. I got like a 4-pack of these little guys with these bright orange handles, and they all have different kind of angles on them. Now, there's another one in here. I got these from Harbor Freight. I don't know what they're actually used for, but they do weed things pretty well in a pinch. So they're handy. So what we're gonna do to weed is weed off the parts we don't want. So that part. And then I have this little catcher thing that I can scrape. So this is gonna get the inside of these letters, and then they just kind of stick to the inside of that. Bam. And like, there are little pieces inside that you can kind of see that are not red from the last thing that I did, but so they don't all come out, but most of the time they do. Okay. So I'm going to cut as best I can these ones too, so that I can weed like one phrase or word at a time. So that's one. What did is one that goes together. Okay. Now this one has a big, like, white spot in between for this red letter, or this red word. Mm-hmm. This will also make it easier when I am putting the transfer tape on it to transfer it onto, there we go, the license plate frame. Okay. And now these have a blue background, I believe. Yeah, blue background. So once I start weeding these, you should actually see what they are. This one, actually, let's grab my big scissors. This is gonna go on one of the side windows, because the heck, if I'm gonna pimp this ride out, I don't know if this is worth saving. It might be. I'll save it. Because if I'm gonna do all this to pimp out this ride, I'm gonna self-promote, you know? So sometimes I did because the last thing that I really made with my Cricut was a bunch of paper stuff. I did change blades and get a new blade in here before doing this cutting, just to ensure that the lines are crisp, because doing a lot of paper cutting will dull the blade, and they're not expensive to replace the blade. You're not replacing the entire housing. You're just replacing, like, literally this little 1-inch carbide blade. So they were like $6 for a 2-pack or something. Not bad at all. Once you get kind of far in here, you don't need the weeding tool as much anymore, since I'm just removing the outside. There we go. Okay. Now the weeding tool will come in handy, so that I can, let me see if I can, no, I cannot. Let's see if I could make this closer, but without destroying the angle. I'm not sure I can. Let's try it though. Bear with me. All right. Hopefully the shadow on that is not terrible, and you can still see, and I can still see what I'm doing here. And because the mic is in the camera here, hello, you should be able to hear me just fine as so what I tend to do is with these little tiny pieces, like the circle in the Instagram logo, I'll just like hold it down while I peel the pieces up around it. With the weeding tool. And I can do this because I have nails that I utilize, but I can imagine that if you are a gentleman with shorter nails or a lady with shorter nails, that might be harder to do. Most of the times these little bits just come up pretty good. And sometimes, as you can see, like in this one, the center of this A already got stuck somewhere and came up as I was cutting. And I can, if you are, so there we go. We have this, my Instagram handle with the little Instagram logo to make it real clear. And I did this just in the same font as everything, which I can put in the description so that you know, it's like most of my fonts, a free font from dafont.com, DAFONT. And I like DaFont because a lot of the fonts are actually, well, most of them are at least free for personal use, but there are some there that are also free for commercial use. And since this is all personal use, I'm not selling any of this stuff. We're all good. I do make sure that if I am making a design for my website that I am going to sell, I do make sure that it is free for commercial use. And there's a couple of fonts I've paid for over the years, but my name is Trisha, and I'm addicted to fonts. It's kind of a problem sometimes. I have like 1,200 fonts on my computer. Oh, one like flew. There we go. So we have Stay-Puft, and I'm going to take this, cut this down, because then that will be easier for me when I'm putting the transfer tape on it to center it here. That's about where it's going to go. And looks like I sized that perfectly. So we can set that aside and put this one aside. And then that's for the front one. Okay. Now I went back and forth with this one on whether or not I should put man or van, and decided to just lean into it and put van. And you know what? Since I'm making this, I can always change it if I really want. Boom. So the back will say Stay-Puft Marshmallow Van. I like it. Okay, the A already yeeted itself. We have the O, this A, and I actually this morning, before I went live when I was cutting all this stuff. Marshmallow Van. I made a onesie for a friend's baby, and I was using printable iron-on for that. And oh boy, I forgot that with the printable iron-on, you have to put a parchment between the iron and the printed part, and just almost jacked up my little mini press. That was a shame. So luckily, because it was smaller, because it's a onesie, I was able to just print it out again and redo it, and it's cute. It's an inside joke that the mom and dad have, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to really anybody else, but it's cute, and she's a cute baby, so everything will look cute on her. Okay, and then this is where this red dew is going to come in, because I needed the dew to be emphasized for what should be, once you see it, obvious reasons. Okay, we've got the look at the margin on that. I nearly cut that comma out. Yikes. That's why you gotta be careful. Boom. What did you do, Ray? I figured that would be good for the front. It will make people in the know chuckle, which is really kind of all I care about. I mean, if you see my van and you don't get it, that's on you. You just don't get it. So then this will go here. Oops, sorry. Well-ish. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Discuss. Knocked all my shit off. And crapola, some of it went under the couch. Okay, well, I am missing the bookmark. But I know, I see it. It flew way over there. Okay. We're good. We're still good to steal a little bit of parlance from Good Mythical Morning. We're still good. Okay. Stay over there, Puffy, will you? All right. So, let me just briefly... Okay. So we've got these. Oh, I need to grab my transfer tape. The thing about transfer tape is that you could totally use the Cricut brand transfer tape. It's pretty good, and I will use it like 80% of the time. I definitely use the Cricut brand transfer tape when I am making a decal that I'm selling to somebody, because I know that it works well. If it is a decal, however, that I am just making like quickly like these with the express purpose of putting them onto something else and then that is the finished product, I will actually often just use clear, what is it called? I completely blanked. Shelf paper, basically. It's contact paper. Contact paper. That's what the word I was looking for. I will use clear contact paper that I can get a roll of from the dollar store, because it's good enough to transfer it from off of this to onto that before I send that out into the world. Okay, so what I'm going to do here for you is I am going to let you watch that video again while I run to the bathroom. Thank you for bearing with me for that short break. So I was trying to find my roll of contact paper very briefly, and I swear I saw it earlier and don't see it now. So I might be out, and I might have just imagined that. But I have some pieces of transfer that I already used, and this is not going to be long enough for that. So I'm going to cut it down for just this one little part here so that I can put the dew onto this background and then put it all onto that as in one piece. So this part is annoying, and it is definitely where my nails also come in handy. It's getting that little transfer part up. I'm going to, since that's all. Okay. So the thing about the transfer paper, and usually I would not like work on that surface, but because I know this is all going to be waste, I'm not tripping. So you use the little burnisher to burnish it down, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. Ooh, Bad choices were made here. All right, we're good. So then you see that peels right on up off of that backing. Yeah, I'm not doing that again. That was a bad idea. And then this, I can now position over this. That doesn't look quite right. Let me see here. This might look weird to you, but to me it's facing me, so I think that is about correct. What did you do, Ray? Looks like, oh, no. I think this is just ever so slightly. Trying to get it. Let us review the Cricut file for right now, because that will help to see where it is, how close it is here. So let me zoom in. No. And then I can. All right. So it's pretty close to the comma on this. And actually, it looks like these are kind of off. They're not going to be centered. So let's go back here. So we're going to need this to be closer to the comma. The do is going to be about as high up as the U. What did you do, Ray? Yeah. That looks better. Okay. So let's see if I can get that to stick to this background. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, honestly, because this is, meant for it to peel up off of. So instead, what I'm going to do is leave that on and cut the excess off so I can just put a longer piece over the whole thing. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to lift you guys up again for a little wider of a shot. Okay. So, yeah, that's perfect. If I cut like 3 squares of this in a row. I love the grid on that is one thing that is nice about this. The grid on the transfer paper, on the transfer tape, really helps to figure out how much you need to cut so that you're not grossly just willy-nilly cutting transfer tape and it's too damn long or too short, or it's like when you get It's like when you get wrapping paper, and wrapping paper has the grit on it. That's the best wrapping paper, isn't it? Of course it is. So that you can easily tell what the hell you're doing. And you're not wasting 10,000 feet of wrapping paper. Okay. So what I'm going to do for this, actually, while we put this on, is I am going to put all this aside. Those are all the clear pieces. Okay. So that we don't have this underneath again, because that ended up being problematic. Okay. So that's going to set aside. Okay. So the Stay-Puft and the Marshmallow Van go on one, and the What Did You Do, Ray, goes on the other. Move that. All right. So what I want to do, I think I'm going to put, I had originally intended for the little no ghost logos to go on either side of the What Did, but I don't think there's going to be enough room there. So they're probably going to go down here. And I think they might be a little too big. I'm not sure. We'll see. So I'm going to do the You Do Ray part first because it's longer, and then I can reuse this piece of transfer tape on the smaller one. Okay. So I actually don't need it that long, but I'm going to keep it that long. And get my little thumbprint out. Okay. Like if I were real smart, which clearly I am not, I would use the grid on here to also line this up so it'd be easy to line up here. But oh no, that just makes too much sense, and we're not about that life here. Making sense? Are you kidding me? Huh. Good day. We have a comment. Lisa wants to know, are they waterproof? Yes. So with this particular Cricut vinyl, actually, let me put that back. With the 651, yes. The 651 is outdoor rated for up to 6 years. So when you go online, or I've even seen years ago, I was at a mall and they had some guy in a kiosk making decals on the fly at this mall. I wish, right? So when you get a vinyl decal, generally speaking, they are mostly this Oracal 651, which is outdoor rated for up to 6 years. So the decals that I made for my last van, my last vehicle, which was a 2019 Chevy Equinox, that was this color, were actually made out of a water, they were made out of a holographic vinyl, which was not outdoor rated. So I had that car until June of this year, and they had disintegrated and they were gross and I had to take them off. Okay, so we've got that, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this as best as I can. I think that looks about right. I'm like basically lining it up with the top and then kind of checking it on camera to see if it's kind of vertically like this ways. And that looks good. So I'm going to bite the bullet and put it down. Whoa. And then of course it moves. But before I really burnish that, I'm going to look at it and it's a little off. So I'm going to was trying to get it so that it was just the transfer tape sticking, because the transfer tape will come right off. But once you get this permanent vinyl on there, it's a pain in the ass to get off. And when I was setting it down, it got a little wonky. So I think that looks about right. Yep, I like it. Okay, so I'll just go from the center, kind of brandish that. And now this is the Cricut brand one that came with my kit long time ago. It is very hard plastic. I have this one that came from Expressions Vinyl, which is a softer plastic. It's a little more pliable. And I like it better for most of this stuff because this surface is not like straight up flat. If it were a flat sticker, like a flat surface like the tray table, it would work just fine. Like I did use it when I was putting the transfer tape on, the dew. But for this, because I don't want to mess this up and scrape paint off of it or anything, I'm going to use this softer one that kind of bends with it. Lisa asks, you can't use a blow dryer to get the sticker off? Honestly, I've never tried. Maybe. You might be able to. The thing about that too, though, is if you used a blow dryer to get the sticker off, and provided you did not damage the surface that you're trying to take it off of, yay, you didn't damage the surface, but you sure can't reuse this. So the decal. So that's the thing. If I had messed this up and got it stuck to this and then had to get it off in some way, I'd have to recut all of this, which is not that big of a deal. It's just a pain in the ass because I already did it once and I don't want to have to do it again. You know, it just seems like a waste. So now we peel it up and reveal. Oh yeah, and see that little piece that was over the DO came up just fine. Boom. So now I can use this exact same piece because we're not, you know, it's still sticky enough that it'll stick to the lettering and peel the lettering off of the backing. But not so sticky. And I got a couple of little bubbles in here, but not terrible. So this is going to be a little, I'm going to have to tilt it a little bit to see it because there's not quite as much clearance on this. Okay, that seems to be horizontally about where it should go. I think that works. So go from the center. Ooh. Boom. There we go. What did you do, Ray? Love it. Yeah, originally, so there's a little tiny bubble here. There's one on the A too. I see itty bitty bubbles there that are not that bad. All right. Overall, I am super happy with this. Yeah. There we go. There you can see it a little better. What did you do, Ray? And toward the end here, when we're done with all this, I'll show you all the pictures of the stuff that's already in the van. the Hubs printed this on his 3D printer too, which isn't the one that I wanted. Let me see if we can better see. There we go. Oh, that might be better. Yeah. So, and I did the same thing with the paint marker and just kind of, he's like writing something into him, and I couldn't really tell. This isn't the one I wanted him to print. And actually, it didn't come out that well in printing in PLA plastic. He also has a resin printer, and the resin printer, is higher quality, so for the finer details. So he's going to print some others in this. And I also have some of those ones that came in the little surprise jars. And I'm just kind of going to put them around the vehicle, and it's going to be fun. So there's this one is going to go on the front of the vehicle. What did you do, Ray? And then, whoo, shit. Scheiße. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to do the Stay-Puft part because it's going to go on the top, and I can reuse this transfer tape. And this is probably the bounds of how much I can reuse this transfer tape. 3 times, and then it's pretty much not going to be sticky enough to do anything else. Especially because I'm like burnishing it against this table placemat that's got a bunch of crap stuck into it. So, all right. Pulls off the Stay-Puft part. And besides, for the marshmallow van, I'm going to need a longer piece anyway. Woo! Sheesh. All right. Let me center this. I think that looks good. This one's almost like the more important one because it's on the back where more people are arguably gonna see it. I want my freaking license plates to get here soon so that I can actually put this on. Damn. Oof, that one had some other bubbles. No. Sometimes with the bubbles, I have seen people use a hairdryer with the bubbles to get them off. But I also, one, this is going to be like outside and in the elements, and one little tiny bubble is not going to, you're not going to be able to see it as you're staying your distance behind me where you're supposed to be. Oh, they're really visible though. I flew too close to the sun, y'all. All right. It's not great, but it's like one of those things where from here, it looks just fine. From here, you can see the little bubbles, and it's, yeah. But from here, where people are going to see it, aces. Lovely. Okay. And I have another question from Lisa. How do you get around branding laws? My son loves the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to do a Mega Pint label for my glass or Johnny Depp face. So the way you get around branding laws is, one, this is a font. This is not a Ghostbusters font. Now, it looks like it should be, but this is just a font that I found online. 2, I'm not selling these. These are just for my personal use. So if I were going to sell these online, that would probably be a problem. Now, can you buy things online that are branded that I guarantee you the brand Columbia Pictures did not put their stamp of approval on? Yes, 100%. You can. Etsy is a thing, and people sell all kinds of things on Etsy that they're probably not supposed to sell. Some of the things I got for my car, I bought on Etsy. I guess it's one of those things where it's like, is the brand really gonna spank you for the, what you're selling on Etsy, or are they just going to be like, it's, we don't sell it, so it's whatevs. And that's the thing too. Like, if you weren't here from the beginning, I did say earlier that I tried to buy as much as I could. I did not want to have to make stuff for this car. I was already, the backstory of why I have this new vehicle is that I got in a car accident in my Equinox, and the airbags went off because I rear-ended somebody, and they consider that a total loss. So I had to get a new vehicle, or I'd still be driving that Equinox that was this color blue, and had a mermaid theme, for what it's worth. So being in that situation where I had to get a new car, and I decided to get this van, and white was basically the only options, I really didn't want to have to DIY this stuff. Because that's the thing, right? Like, people have to consider, and it's one of those things that I know a lot of people struggle with. Just because you can make something, or you look at something and say, oh, I could totally make that, doesn't mean you have the spoons to make it, the desire to make it, I just was really not feeling like making this stuff, but I was so enamored and down the undiagnosed ADHD rabbit hole of, ooh, I can make this a Stay-Puft marshmallow van and, make lemonade out of lemons, so to speak, that I really wanted these kind of touches, and I could not just go on Amazon and buy them. I couldn't even go on I was saddened, or I was, let's say, I was very happy when I discovered that there is a Ghostbusters website that sells things. Like, it is branded by Columbia Pictures and Ghostbusters, and it has official merchandise. I was like, yes, let me go buy all the stuff I need. I didn't end up making any purchases on that site because there was no kind of car accessories. There was cups, but they were all glasses, which I'm not going to put a glass tumbler into a vehicle. I wanted a plastic tumbler, akin to these Starbucks kind of tumblers. This is the kind of cup that I want to just keep in my vehicle, not a glass, a glass tumbler that says Ghostbusters. So it was a lot of okay, this is some stuff that I'm going to add to my wish list because I'd like to grab it eventually for my house or for whatever, but not for the car. So that's basically how you get around the copyright. And I'm not a lawyer. I am not a copyright lawyer. But I have long been told that if you have, that there's a variation, if you have at least 10% variation, it is a transformative work and it does not violate copyright. I don't know how true that is, but that was what I was told 20 years ago when I went to a class at Michael's, that my aunt, it was my aunt teaching it, but she was employed by Michael's to do this. So it's not like it was just, oh, my mama told me, so it's okay. No. So my aunt told me and the rest of the class that if it was 10% variance, you could do it. And it was a class she was taking, images out of coloring books and showing you how to with paints and stuff and transfer paper. This is, like I said, oh God, actually it was probably 30 years ago. Whew, I feel old now. 30 years ago, she was showing people how to take a transfer paper, transfer the outline onto a t-shirt, and then use fabric paints to color it in, and was saying that, from the research she had done in, the early 90s or whatever, that it was 10% transformative, and so it would not violate copyright. That that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't know if that's true. Maybe one of these days on my adventures on watching LawTube, I'll find somebody. I'll ask Boss Attorney Bree. I don't know. I'll figure it out someday. But yeah, and there's stuff that I do sell that's probably copyrighted. But if Columbia Pictures wants to send me a cease and desist, I'll take it down. All right. Sorry to bother. No bother at all. No bother. Don't feel bad. Please always come and ask questions, because then I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. Sorry to bother you. I've bought a ton of stuff on Wish and Etsy. I see your point on selling it as to personal use. I love to craft. Really Ghostbuster websites. Yes. It was like Ghostbusters.com. And yeah, I'm sure, like, if you see Wish and Etsy, Wish is problematic. Like, Wish, there's probably a lot of, like... So the thing about Wish is that, this is the way I understand it. Wish, like, almost everything on Wish is made in China, and U.S. copyright does not extend to China, so they are, like, the knockoff capital of the world. It's like how you can go down to, like, Canal Street in New York and get a Vuitton handbag for $100. Like, it's a knockoff. That's a really good knockoff. But it's counterfeit. There's a whole, in fact, if you go on to, I think it was Netflix, search around. It was either Netflix or Curiosity Stream somewhere. There's a whole task force that the FBI has on counterfeit goods. It's fascinating. But yeah, they have a whole task force on counterfeit goods, and it's a problem. And Wish, that's the problem. Wish, I think, is all knockoffs that they're selling. Some stuff might be licensed. I highly doubt it. Wish, Alibaba, AliExpress is the same. They're all that kind of knockoff that is counterfeit knockoff. Etsy, I think, is a lot of people who are like us, that are like crafty. We are fans of something and we like to make them, and hey, if we can sell some, we can sell some. And I don't know the details with that. Yeah, I just don't know. So let me center this. Okay, I'm going to need to kind of... This is like the long one that's like, hold your breath and count to 10 and make a wish and hope you don't screw it up. All right, so you can kind of see what I'm doing, but for this part, I have to see what I'm doing. Sorry, y'all. Okay. That, I think... Okay, let me move my finger out of the way. That seems mostly... Okay. So what I'm going to do here that's already started to happen is just kind of... That N, like, I'm worried about. I'm worried about the N because when I was putting the transfer tape on, the transfer tape itself got creased. And it didn't seem to make a big deal. But now I'm... I think it's fine. Cool. Et voila, the Stay-Puft marshmallow van. I love it so much. So much. All right. New set of questions. Copyright, that sounds right. This year, for Halloween, I want to do movies. I live in Iowa. What's the biggest thing you have made on your Cricut? So the mats on the Cricut are 12 by 12. And they do make a 12 by 24 long mat. I have one. I don't like messing with it. It's just too damn much. And I have limited space. I do not have I kind of have a dedicated space. I have a card table that my Cricut and other supplies are on and under. That the intention when I set it up was definitely not for it to be there all of the time. It was going to be there when I was crafting and come down when I wasn't. And it's there now. And that's how we live our lives here. And yeah, so it's kind of a clusterfuck. So I don't have my own dedicated space. The 12 by 12 is really the biggest mat I want to mess with. I don't like messing with the 12 by 24 mat. I would say the biggest thing I have made. That's hard. Like, I've definitely made things that were bigger, that were big projects that like one piece had to be made per mat. In January, I made some letters for a baby shower. I made the baby's name, Alice, and I found a Alice in Wonderland looking font on DeFont and cut it out of some really pretty, like, marbled, almost like India ink spread kind of paper that I found online. And what they did with that was she had wrapped some of those file boxes and had wrapped them with like plain colored paper and then put ALICE on them. And now the lids are up in the baby's room. She's 6 months old or 5 months old now. So that might be the biggest thing that I've done. And each letter was as big as I could make it on a 12 by 12 piece of paper and 12 by 12 mat. But all told, they're like 6 feet, 5 feet long or something like that. So that might be the biggest thing I've made. I tend to make smaller things just because I don't have a lot of room. And I've never really had like a need for anything much bigger. But yeah, I did. One of these days I'll actually write the blog post I've been meaning to write on the Alice in Wonderland baby shower. And I've done other baby showers for my friends. I did a rubber ducky baby shower for a friend. I did a rubber ducky baby shower for one friend. I helped with a classic Winnie the Pooh baby shower for one of my best friend's second baby. And for her first baby, I did a Dumbo themed baby shower. Those are on my blog at TrishaLyn.com. Not the Winnie the Pooh one, because we just did that one in February. And I have not written anything on my blog since 6 months into COVID. So yeah, it needs some updating for sure. But we're doing the things that we can do. I want to do a Beetlejuice tombstone. Oh, that would be sick. What would I need to make the front of it? I want to do it on Cricut to get details, but I don't know how big I can go. So that's the thing. Like, if you are okay with, like I did with this, where I pieced the red, onto it, you can do huge things and just make them in different pieces on your mat and piece them together on the tombstone. So I would think for that, if it were me, I would get I would check like the spirit store, or actually even Dollar Tree has like those foam tombstones sometimes, and I don't know how big you want to go. But I would like look for a really cheap foam tombstone that you could use as a base. Or if you want to go bigger than that, you know what you could find right now? Since it is the end of summer, maybe you could go to like Walmart or Target or somewhere and find like those boogie boards that are foam, like the kiddie kickboards for the pool, and just like spray paint that gray and then put your pieces on top of it. The other thing you could do, depending on, like, that's the thing too. If you do a Beetlejuice tombstone, I don't know how solid you want to make it. If you want it to like stick, you know, if it's just going to be this year and then you're going to chuck it in the trash or give it to somebody, then you don't have to put as much into it. But if you're going to, you know, keep it in the shed or the garage or whatever for next year and years in the future, what you could also do is do it just in paper and make different layers, and so kind of build it up a little bit by just layering different, you know, pieces of paper, and paint the whole thing gray after you do that. Now you've got me thinking. I have wanted for a long time. Thank you, Dr. Riley in the house. Yes, thank you. Like and subscribe. Good idea on the boogie boards. Thank you. Sometimes I have good ideas. The thing about the tombstone, I have wanted for a really long time to do a haunted mansion theme for my the out front, but two things have stopped me from doing that. The first thing is that I haven't actually put up any decorations on the front of my house in like 3 years. Because I just don't have the spoons for it really much. And yeah, same. Like the last 4 or 5 years, it's been raining on Halloween. And it's a drag. We live in a pretty decent little neighborhood here, and so we get a good number of trick-or-treaters. The first year we did not get a good number of trick-or-treaters, that I was a little surprised, was last year, because, you know, obviously in 2020 there was no trick-or-treating, but in 2021 the trick-or-treaters, like everything I heard online from people was that the trick-or-treaters were going to be out. They were not sitting this one out again. And so I, you know, did what I had to do. I got the candy. I was all ready. I had the inside of my house decorated a little bit with some of my Haunted Mansion stuff. Spirit Store has come out with some good Haunted Mansion stuff in the last few years. And I saw something on TikTok. They're coming out with some other cool stuff. Oh, they just shut up and take my money, like Fry says. But I'm just cleaning some stuff up here while I talk to y'all. Yeah, so I just haven't. I expected there to be trick-or-treaters, like, you know, yes, trick-or-treating at a distance. You know, I was ready to like toss candy to them. But I was glad that I didn't build some elaborate candy rig, because, well, like I saw some people building, because 0 people came by last year. 0. And I was kind of sad. I had a lot of candy to eat, though. So there was that. But yeah. Okay. So let's turn our attention to these little guys, because what I was going to do for these little guys was they were going to go on this front one. So I had envisioned them up here, but there is not room. So I'm envisioning them down here. And I think Ooh, maybe if I put them like straight up in the corners, they might work. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this, since all this is going to be waste, which kills me, is reverse weed and grab this. This is the first time I've used this brand, and I'm very happy with like the shininess, and I'm happy with the print quality, especially Stay-Puft, because I literally took a screenshot of a video and cleaned up all the crap around it in Photoshop. It took way too long, but I wanted real Stay-Puft, so that's what I did. There we go. All right. So peel that up. All right, those got a little like wonky. That's the thing with the print and cut, is that you print with this bleed, and so now they look like they have a drop shadow. But whatever. Oh, the reveal on Stay-Puft. Stay-Puft looks so good. There's a piece here that is still stuck. Oh shit, son. So happy with that. Ecto 1 looks great. That one also looks like a drop shadow. All right, well, all my no ghost logos are just a little bit extra, a little bit drop shadow. We just gonna have to roll with it. I live right down the street from an elementary. Kids walk by every day. I love their reactions. I have had 100, but they're all getting older. Yeah, my nieces and nephews are getting older, and I think one of my nieces, she's going to be 12 next week after. I think she's getting to the point where she's not going to want to trick or treat anymore, and it's sad. This year was the last year she believed in Santa. And it like killed my friend. She's a niece in that I've known her mother since we were 12. So, you know, that's just how that goes. I am missing one of the clear layers, I think. It got stuck somewhere. All right. Here's the two small ones. This is Stay-Puft, and this is Ecto 1. All right. I'm missing the big one. It fell over somewhere here. I have another friend that lives literally across the street from a elementary school. But it's an elementary school in Oakland, and there are some kids that like walk by and see her house when she decorates, but I think most of them get dropped off. All right. So, peeling the excess off of the clear ones. I know this is super fascinating since you cannot literally see, you literally can't see it. You can kind of see like the outline of it if I shift it around. Yeah, you can see how it's going to go over the print. Just to keep the print, keep it good. Okay, so we have that. And then the little ones. So let's do the little ones first. I'm really happy. I've never used this transparent vinyl either. And I'm really happy with the quality of it. It's not like super thick. When I was cutting it, I was kind of worried that being on the regular vinyl settings, that this vinyl would be thicker and it wouldn't cut all the way through, but it is, and so that is nice and surprising. Love it. I'm not like it's spooky season already and I'm ready to like, you know, start I'm not ready to like start putting up stuff now, but I love Halloween. Halloween is my favorite because you can totally be somebody else if that's what you want. All right. So the problem with this is, and my little protective covers, is that for print and cut, it puts things like right next to each other. And I made these specifically a little bit bigger so that there would be a little bit of a border. So what I'm going to try to do here is see if I can, there we go, just peel that up, put it somewhere else. These ones are going to be an issue. I may have to do those off stream. Okay. So, whew, all right. This is that much bigger. Oh, uh-oh. Nope. Nope. Oh, shit. All right. Well, damn. They are way bigger than I thought they were. And now that it's stuck, it is stuck. So, maybe you'll be able to see this now. You see the outer is way off centered. Shit. Okay. So, I'm just gonna negate the fact that I even used a Cricut on this and cut some of this excess off. All right. That's frustrating. Okay. So I am going to put this like right there. I mean, overall though, it's going to protect the print. It's not, great. But, like I said, this is the one that's going to be in the front of the car. How many people are really going to see the one in the front of the car? Like, hardly anyone. Okay. That is just a piece of paper. So now, at least I know with this one. So when I designed these in Design Space, it was 0.125 extra. So now I know that is way more than necessary, way more than I needed. Next time, I will do it smaller. So this one, I think I can, yeah. All right, so that one is a little more like centered. Yeah, this is the way I wanted it. Boom. It's not like perfect. And I actually thought about, and maybe I'll do this next time. I've seen some people where, since they know that all this is just going to be a loss anyway, they'll put the clear on over it before they cut it and then just double cut it. So maybe next time that is something to take into account. I'm still going to put him kind of down here. My mouse went bye-bye. I love it so much. I'm gonna move. Hopefully you are just seeing the same thing, because the way I set up my camera, yep. Ooh, okay. This is the way to do it. Alrighty. What did you do, Ray? I love it so much. And I reiterate, had I been able to buy something like this, I 100% would have. But I couldn't. It did not exist until now. Phantasmagorical. I had a mini stroke and suffer from tremors. My hands shake so bad sometimes. So little details are not my friend. Oh, I'm so sorry. I start Halloween the night of trick or treat for the next year. I hear it. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Like I actually stopped cross stitching because I had trigger thumb, and it it's not doing it right now, but my thumb would like literally pop, and doing small details, it was a mess. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, there's definitely stuff that I have done for Halloween and then been like, I'm gonna do this for next Halloween, and I start right away. Mrs. Hoglaw, every time you pull through a parking spot. Ah, oh, thank you for stopping by. Uh, yeah, it looks so good. Uh, yes. Okay, let's. Oh, you know what? I actually had it cut out the little holes because I am that kind of OCD. I forgot. Oh, it stuck to me. Uh, yeah, this is Mrs. Hoglaw. Yes. Okay. Oh no. Okay. This is the problem with these little details like this sometimes. When it sticks to itself, luckily, it is not like, even though I'm like digging at it with this like little weeding tool, it didn't seem to mess up the print. Like I can kind of see it if I angle it right, but I'm really impressed with this. I'm pretty sure I did link this vinyl into the description below. But yeah, I'm loving this. It was a 5-pack. So I'm excited. Okay. I do think I had done this. Oh yeah, that's right. I did it for the gear shift knob. Okay. So that is something that will go into the car. And see, because of how close these are together on this sheet, I think I'm going to have to do these one at a time. I might actually have to put this on the car and then put the clear over it. So that is not something I can show you, but what I can move on to is the name stickers. So this is a lot of extra that I'm going to cut down because I can 100% use this. This is like, I don't consider that scrap. That's like a whole extra half sheet. Okay. So like I said before, the idea for these is that in the car, there's a center console along the roof in the back seat of the van. So it has got like little pop down things like where you would put in a entertainment system. And I don't have that. I don't have kids. I have a van and no children. Because I am a chunky lady and I am embracing my inner camp counselor by getting said van. And it is, nerded out. So, All right. So the idea is that these are removable and that they won't mar the inside. So let me just, that's the one like pain in my butt about these is like you get a little bit of greasy fingers and nerf. What type of vinyl would I need if I wanted to put it on wood? Is there some kind? I've put vinyl on wood a lot, and I just use permanent vinyl. Most of the wood that I put it on is already finished. Like it's a blank from Michael's or Walmart or somewhere. And so it's already been sanded and primed and is ready to go. It is made for crafting. If you were like going to Home Depot and buying wood and doing that, I would recommend sanding and finishing it and stuff before putting the vinyl on. But I would say just regular like Oracal 651 vinyl should be fine, should do the trick. And you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Expressions Vinyl. You can get the Cricut brand. The Cricut brand is more easily available, in terms of ease of like just going to a Michael's and getting it than like Oracal where you'd have to order it. But I find that the Oracal is cheaper. You can buy the Oracal by the roll, and it's the professional stuff. It's what if you went into a sign shop they are using. So, you know, why not? Okay, this is so close to each other. I think I'm going to have to just reverse weed this whole thing and then put them together. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah. So I'm going to put the permanent vinyl that's glossy onto the matte vinyl so that this removable vinyl will eventually, when I get ready to sell this vehicle, come off of the center consoles in one piece. So, yeah. So with this, I showed earlier that I already have the stance, the race stance patch in the car up front. But I did make a stance anyway, just in case I wanted to remove the patch and do something else with the patch. Or just in case it's long enough, that center console. I just got the van at the end of July. So I've only had it a couple weeks. And another thing I will do sometimes, like as I'm peeling this up, is I'll just cut this piece, like because it's so close to the next piece that it's hard to, I don't want to cut through something accidentally with my scissors. But once you start peeling big swaths of excess vinyl up, you have the peril that it could stick to this vinyl and pull it up too, and that is like a nightmare. And of course, right as I said that, it's gonna happen. That's what happened on the last stream. As I was making the buttons, I was talking about, oh yeah, like I don't get much. I was making those buttons saying I don't get much. What did I say? I don't get much spoilage where the button gets messed up and I mess up a whole thing and then it's wasted. And then, of course, like 2 seconds later, it's wasted. And that is exactly what just happened here. It's a nightmare to have to peel this off, and then the M gets stuck. Son of a monkey. Oh, and it's stuck to the Z now. All right. Okay. Like, I really don't want to have to cut a new M. It's the bane of my existence. Like, this vinyl is not... Oh, shit. Okay. I'm going to cut that. Peel that off. See if I can salvage this. Oh, Winston, man, I'm sorry. If there was an M in my own name, I would sacrifice my own name, which is on here. Like this vinyl. Dang. Okay. You can't see it, but like the end of the tail of the M moved and picked up the excess of the vinyl. So now I freaking knew that would happen. God. Okay. I'm just gonna do that. Get all these little pieces off of my scissors. And I might have to recut a new M for that. I hate doing that. Like, I could do it, but I hate doing it because it's not even about the waste of it. It's just about like when I do a word together, it's all perfectly where it's supposed to be. You know, they're the kerning on the word is correct. And when I have to peel a letter out of the center and put a new letter there, oh, and lovely, like the M is actually attached to the O. So I'll have to do an M and an O, which is just a pain in my butt. Unless I can get this detached. What a pain. I thought I caught it fast enough when I saw that it was doing it. And I guess I did not. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, buddy. All right. Now, it's a little wonky, a little misshapen. I can live with that. I can totally live with that. Alrighty. Able to fix it. I'm so glad. Okay. Especially because that M and the O are actually connected. So I would have had to redo more than I wanted to redo. Okay. As I was saying before, this is why I tend to cut down the pieces as I'm weeding them. Because especially with this kind of skinny... Oh, son of a monkey. Did it again. All right. I'm just going to have my scissors on the ready because with this skinny font, it is being a pain. Okay. Okay. I noticed with the last update to Cricut Design Space, it is definitely like optimizing itself for less waste because they're right next to each other. Like they're not being spaced out on the mat as much as they used to be, which on the one hand, I too hate the vinyl waste, and so I'm here for it. But also, like, it's so like narrow of a margin. Okay. Okay. I think at this rate I can keep pulling it, and it should be okay. How satisfying was that? Okay. Crisis averted. Oh. Yeah, this is not the smallest details I've tried to cut. For scale, I think I have a quarter here. Okay. There's a quarter for scale, US quarter. And when the maker first came out, I am friends with somebody who actually does a lot of work with Cricut and designs different... She's an illustrator and a graphic designer and crafter, and she does excuse me, work with Cricut. And she designed something that was this big with intricate details and cut it on the Cricut and was able to weed it out, and it was perfect. And that is, the level of detail you can do with a Cricut, especially with the Maker. And I don't know if the current Maker 3, there was no Maker 2, if the current Maker 3 is even more like detailed, but I think it's just as detailed but different. Like the matte settings are different and stuff. I'm salty on the Maker 3. I bought a Maker whenever the Cricut Maker came out. Because I had a Cricut, I had a Cricut Explorer, like one of the, not the first gen ones that were tiny, but one of the last ones that you had to have cartridges and you had to buy images in each cartridge. You couldn't just, like, I could never have done this on that Cricut because it was not online. You couldn't use your own images. But I bought it because my friend, Jen, was making her own images because she had some other, like, third-party software. Well, then shortly after I got my Cricut Expression, the Cricut brand put the kibosh on that third-party software. So you could no longer upload your own images and do that. So that was a no-go. But I still had it, and I still liked doing it, and getting the cartridges was nice. You know, it was just kind of costly because each cartridge was like $50, man. So I got, you know, some base cartridges, and then I would get some used cartridges and things like that. But then the Explorer, that was an Expression. Then the Explorer came out. And then I got the Maker because they were like, oh, with the Maker you can make all this other stuff, and you can cut fabric without doing the fusing bonding thing, and you can cut wood up to like 3/4 of an inch, and you can cut all this and balsa and all this other stuff. And it is, quote, in the marketing, quote, the last machine you'll have to buy. And then last year, I think it was, they came out with the Maker 3, and I was pissed because what happened to the last machine I had to buy, Cricut? So annoying. I love my Cricut, but mostly use it for paper piecing. I've only done one vinyl project. Yes, my sister-in-law is it's difficult to explain her divergency, but she is special. I don't know how else to put it, because I don't know that it's one thing I could just say, like, she's autistic. Like, I don't think she is. Anyway, she does amazing paper craft with her Cricut. She actually bought when she turned 18, I sold the Cricut Expression to my in-laws for her because she didn't have a computer. She wasn't going to be connected to the internet. So it was fine. And all my cartridges. And she loves it. She makes cards that are beautiful. Yes, they are fussy details, but you know why I like the vinyl more is because it does, like, stick and it cuts cleaner than paper. I don't know. Like, I've never really been a paper crafter. When I got my Cricut Expression, yes. Yeah, the first one with the cartridges. I decided that year, after I, like, actually was making stuff with it, I'm like, I am going to make all my Christmas cards this year. And at the time, I was sending out like 150 cards a year because I would send them, like, to family, extended family, and business contacts that I was friendly with. And oh boy, that was a lot of cards. They were good, like, they looked good, but oh man, it was just so much. That's amazing. Like, I think the Maker will take a cartridge. I don't know where, though. I'm pretty sure, like, I could lift something up and there's a place for a cartridge. I don't have them anymore, but that's great. If you have an older machine, perfect. And I think that like a lot of schools have the older machines. A lot of schools that have low budgets, but they want that kind of like maker space. An older machine you can get really cheap and be able to do some really cool things with. So I'm all for it. I'm going to use my bigger scissors on this so that I don't. You see, these are like right up on each other. I'm so afraid to cut one. Okay, so I know this one was the stance one. Okay, cool. All right. I think the best way to go with this would probably be for me to cut transfer tape that's big enough for the whole thing, transfer this onto this, and then the whole thing can be done and put in the car. Yeah. That is what we're doing here. Have I ever? Yes, I've done a lot of t-shirts. I was saying earlier I did a printed vinyl. Here, wait, what did I do with it? I'll show it to you. Earlier, before I was streaming, I did a onesie for my friend's baby that is not going to make a lot of sense because it's like an inside joke between her mom and dad. But they found this picture of this cat like hissing, and they just thought it was hilarious. And this was printable iron-on that is made for dark fabrics. So there's one that's made for light fabrics and one that's made for dark fabrics. And this one's made for dark fabrics. This is a navy blue Burt's Bees baby onesie that I bought on Amazon. And I made this shape around it so it's vaguely cat-like. And printed it. So yeah, and I've done things with vinyl, the heat transfer vinyl that's made for t-shirts. I really like that. And yeah, I've definitely done t-shirt decals. The printable stuff is a little like it's okay, like looking at it, it's not great. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it blends in to the dark. It definitely there's a shape around it. But it's, you know, for one, it's a baby onesie that's going to be worn and used and abused, so to speak. I did make a baby onesie with the heat transfer vinyl for a friend of mine, and it was it was the shape. It was a file I actually bought on Etsy, and it was the shape of the main monster from Where the Wild Things Are, and in text in the inside it says, "I'll eat you up, I love you so." And I made that and put it on a onesie, and that was what she brought her older son home from the hospital in 2017. Recently she had another baby, and I saw it still like was looking good. She still kept it like looking enough even after a bunch of washes with the first baby that the second baby was wearing it. And that was pretty cool. So yeah, I've done a lot of t-shirts. I've done some like makeup bags that are small like this. I did a bunch for a coworker of mine. She has this mom group and they give gifts to each other every year. And so each one had each mom's name on it in a cool font. Yeah, I like doing the t-shirt stuff. I have a Easy Press, the first generation one, the one that's like 9x9, and I have a mini Easy Press, the little one that I used on the onesie. And yeah, I resisted getting the little one for a long time because that little Easy Press, hold on, it's right here. I'll show you. The little Easy Press was $50 for a little tiny iron this big. And I was really, really averse to spending $50 on this. However, I was making smaller things like baby onesies, and I actually made a like a beauty queen style sash for a costume on like wide ribbon. And somebody had given me like a $50 gift card to Michael's for my birthday. So I'm like, you know what? It's a sign. I'll just go ahead and get it. And I'm glad I did. Like, now that I see knockoff brands on Amazon, I would 100% like spend $30 and get a knockoff brand. But I'm glad I had it, because it does come in handy for little things, to not have to pull out my actual iron that I don't use to iron clothes with, because it's literally like 35 years old. Okay, maybe like 30 years old. Or the big Easy Press that's like 9x9 or something like that. I would say paper crafting is my specialty, but I'll try just about everything. I bet she loves that. I feel like there are hidden things on those cartridges you have to go looking for. Oh, 100%. She has actually, my sister-in-law has upgraded, and she has a maker now. So she had that Expression, then Explore. So she had the Expression for a few years, and then my other sister-in-law, that was still living at home, got a job at Hobby Lobby, and so she got a really good deal on a maker. It was before the Maker 3s came in, so it wasn't like right as they were coming in, but she got a really good deal and was able to use like her employee discount to get her a maker. And so she got her a maker, and now she just does incredible things with it. And she does all kinds of things. And I'm with you. Like, I will try anything, just about everything. And I mentioned earlier, it's the undiagnosed ADHD rabbit hole. And I don't think I truly have ADHD, but there's a lot of stuff that really resonates with me, that ADHD people have mentioned, like the hyperfocus and time blindness and just other things. So I think that is part of it, that I will try just about anything. I have all kinds of vinyl stuff. I do have all kinds of paper stuff. I have resin stuff. So, like, I was watching that the video the other day of Law and Lumber making a resin Lazy Susan, and it was amazing. And I'm like, I could do that. I have the stuff to do that. Will I do it? Oh, I don't know. But I have so much. I just bought on Prime Day the foil transfer kit for the Cricut. Was on sale, and I'd been eyeballing it for a while, so I got it. And I don't know when I'll do something with it, but I love the idea of it. And I do have like the fabric rotary blade. I don't think I've actually cut any fabric yet, but yeah, I will definitely try everything. Pets on pillowcases. That would be cute. Like, wait, do you mean a picture of your pet on a human-sized pillowcase, or do you mean a picture of your pet on a pet-sized pillow? Like a square, like 12 by 12 pillow you'd put on a couch? Because I have a lot of those. I did a really cool pillow case for my boss's daughter. My boss paid me to do it for her, and it was a gift for her daughter. It was pretty great. Okay, here's the thing. Yeah, like, if you're gonna make the hats for the mister, I could see a hat press. The hat press and the mug press are so specialized, I'm not even getting anywhere near them, because I know that if I decide I'm like, oh, I could make mugs, and I'll just go down that rabbit hole, I'll spend the money, I'll get the stuff, and then I will make like 3 mugs, or 3 hats. I just would not. It's why I also have not really got into the infusible ink. I have some stuff. I really haven't tried it out because it's just, I'm not at the point, like the stuff that I have, the infusible ink stuff that I have was given to me as part of a birthday gift. And I haven't really used it because it's a whole thing. You got to go down with the pens and you got to get a certain blend of fabric for the, I'm going to do this actually. I'm going to do it backwards. You got to get a certain blend of fabric for the infusible ink to really like stick to, and then it's a whole ass thing. So I really haven't gotten into the infusible ink at all because it's just a little intimidating, and I know that I will do it and I'll like doing it and I'll buy a bunch of stuff to do it and then won't do it as much. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to like recognize that I have craft supplies for almost like I have craft supplies for jewelry. I have craft supplies for resin. I have wax seals. Yep, that's the thing. Got all kinds of wax seal stuff. I've got paint stuff. I've got all kinds of craft stuff. And it's great for when I want to make something and I'm like, oh, I have the stuff to do that. But also, like, you know, it really is that I saw something earlier that crafting and buying supplies for crafting are really 2 different hobbies. I feel that. I agree. The memorialize your pets on pillowcase. Pay $30 for a picture of my dog. That is my profile picture. Oh, he's a cutie who passed away a few years ago. If I can do it myself. Yeah, 100%. I got it. Like, yeah, you can totally do that. I would say that you want to make sure you have a pillowcase that is that you have the pillowcase picked out before you do the rest, because that will determine what kind of printable vinyl you get. So if it's a dark colored pillowcase, you need to get the dark iron-on vinyl, printable iron-on vinyl, or printable heat transfer vinyl. There is a Cricut brand that is kind of expensive, and I only say it's kind of expensive because you only get like 2 sheets in a package. Like, it doesn't seem like it's that expensive, and then you're like, I only get 2 sheets. What? So there's that, and then there is another brand that Joann's sells. If you have a Joann's. So there's another brand that Joanne sells, and it's not really made like for the Cricut. It's not made for high-end stuff, but it works just as fine, especially if you're just doing it for yourself. I'd say that eyeballed is pretty good. It's good enough for my vehicle. All right, moving on to, I know this one is the Zedmore. It was Zedmore. Spangler was up here. Venkman was up there. Favre, which is not a canon Ghostbuster, and Zedmore was there. Okay. Word. Nobody wants that responsibility, Mrs. Hoglaw. Nobody does. Yes. I mean, ridiculous hats are ridiculously fun. I support this. I don't make, like, this is the thing about this too, is that this is a lot of making for a used van, but I don't do a lot of making stuff for myself necessarily. Like a lot of times I will do stuff for other people. And it's not always, it's mostly friends and family. Or I'll make gifts a lot of times, that kind of thing. But I don't make a lot of stuff like just for myself because I got like what am I where's the room? You know, where am I going to put all that kind of stuff? So, I don't make a lot of stuff for myself. Oh, we are perfect. So it's nice to be just doing this for myself and not, you know, be making stuff for other people. Although I love making stuff for other people because I get to make stuff and then I get to give it to people and they enjoy it. And not everybody like it, this is something that like I really enjoy crafting and making stuff and I'm fairly good at it. And so I enjoy this, but I couldn't possibly keep, you know, I want to make way more than I want to keep. So I couldn't possibly keep all the crap that I want to make. So it works out that I can spread some of that love and pass it on. Like making buttons for other people and things like that. I do you know, I'm saying that, oh, I never get to make anything for myself, like boohoo, woe is me. But it's because I like making things for other people. I really do. All right. Let's come back to the chat for a second. You have no idea. There are so many. Like 3 very large not Tupperware, Rubbermaid bins in the garage. I have soap making stuff. You know when I made soap? When I was like 19? I'm 41. I still have the soap molds and a block of glycerin soap. And am I going to throw it away? No, 100% not. Because I might want to make soap again for some reason. You know, it's just one of those things. I am definitely a craft hoarder. Styrofoam Halloween heads. What? Okay. Okay. I don't think that explains what you're doing with the styrofoam heads, Lisa. We want to know. What are you doing with the styrofoam heads? My idea, I would like to think that you're making the singing busts from the Haunted Mansion. But you're probably not. There is an attraction in San Francisco. And there's a number of them around the world. I think the San Francisco one might be the only one in the U.S. There's called the San Francisco Dungeon. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's not that kind of dungeon, even though it's in San Francisco. But it's a history-focused, like, tourist thing. So it is run by Merlin Entertainment, which is the same company that owns, like, Madame Tussauds. And they owned Legoland at one point. I don't know if they still do or if they don't anymore. But yeah, they're much bigger. Like there's a Berlin dungeon and a London dungeon. Like there's other ones around the world. But it just kind of takes you through like the mid 1800s history of San Francisco, like the building of Alcatraz or the like the not the Bowery, Barbary Coast, the Shanghais, like into the ship. It's crazy, but it's great. But they use the same gag in a lot of it's like an interactive walk through, sit through, like vignettes of. There's definitely a blog post on my blog about it, TrishaLyn.com. because I was able to go to press previews of it. It's great. I think it opened in like 2014 or something. But they use the same gag where they put like black fabric over styrofoam heads and then project the face onto it from across the room. It's great. So that's where that tangent led us to. I'm very happy with this. This is turning out a lot easier, frankly, than I kind of thought it was going to be. I think the biggest problem here is really going to be these guys. And getting that. Unless I do the same thing with these. I could move this down here and put the vinyl over it first. They're just bigger than the little one, the little no ghost. So I just don't want to like get them screwed up before I put them on the van. Because they turned out so good. And I really don't want to have to reprint these. Like, this is fantastic. There's not lines, nothing. Like in that onesie I showed you guys, there's a little bit of a line pattern from the printing. And it's disappointing. But man, okay. Let's just get some of this out of the way here. Let me see here. Oh, I see. Yes. I will admit, I love Halloween. I'm not a big Hocus Pocus fan. Controversial statement. It's fine. Nah. Binks is amazing. Oh no! Yeah, we're just chilling. So, it's not, you can just skip ahead. Several projectors. Problem isn't dark enough outside really seeing them. That's okay. Now I may need to come to Iowa and see Lisa's house because it sounds like it's going to be amazing. Watch a gentleman that uses so much different stuff to make props. I love it. Really inspired this year. That's great. Like if you watch, like I watch a lot of, okay, so let me back up. My husband watches Tested, which is Adam Savage's channel. And I didn't for a long time. But then it got recommended to me one day in the YouTube algorithm. And I realized that he did a lot of question answering. And he would answer questions that people that are Tested patrons would send in. And I started watching just for that and not really for him making stuff. But I came for the questions and stayed for the making. You know what I mean? And it's so interesting because he's got this big shop in the Mission in San Francisco. And like I kind of vaguely know about where it is. Well, I mean, the Mission is not like huge, so I know where the Mission is. I've been there. My friend lives there. But it's interesting when he talks about like what tools are absolutely necessary when you don't have a whole lot of space. And I definitely don't have a whole lot of space. But it is very much like I watch him make stuff and I'm like, I could totally make that. And I have to really fight to not like he made some lights for his shop for while he was filming himself during the beginning of the lockdown. And he did a whole tutorial video on how he made these panel lights that are on like flexible arms rather, to film with. And I was like, that is really like not hard. And the lights look so good and they're positionable and they're fantastic. And I was on Amazon like looking up this stuff and was about to buy it. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Do I really want to mess with all of this? And I'm glad I didn't, because I did eventually a few weeks ago buy some like studio lights or panel lights, the same kind of panel, so that you can actually see what I'm doing here. And it was a 2-pack and it was only like $30, $40, $40 maybe. Not that expensive for 2 of these lights that are pretty versatile. And I'm only using one because I've got this Bright Tech lamp here that does a good job. But yeah, it was great. So I feel it. I watch a lot of videos too with people working with resin, and I've yet to really do a whole lot. Like, I have a bunch of resin stuff, but I mostly have messed with the UV resin because I am impatient. And the UV resin cures next to immediately under a UV light. So yeah. All right. This one is probably going to go somewhere prominently in the car because, spoiler, that's my last name. Yeah. So that's cool. That's the benefit of like finding this as a font and not just like a file that is, like if I was looking and I almost found this font and I started to design the license plate myself. And I'm glad I finally found this image that was nice and clean and crisp and able to use, because it was not going to look as good with me making that, because there's not going to be a shadow on these where you could see the embossing. So you can't, this will do well enough in the car to be funny, and to look enough like the patches, but you're not going to be like, oh, this isn't actually a fabric patch. None of my friends that are going to be in my van are going to give me shit for that. But this, you can see the slight shadow where the line around it and the words New York and the Ecto one are embossed onto that piece of metal. So yeah, it's nice for things like this that I can find a font and just use the font, and not have to redesign it from the ground up. I think I might no, I'm not going to use this whole roll of transfer tape. I have a few of them though, so I'm not running out. The nice thing about that transparent layer being offset from the printed thing though is, as you saw with putting the No Ghost logo on the license plate frame, it's going to kind of act as its own transfer tape. I'm not really going to need to put transfer tape on it. It's going to hold up the shape enough. This is a bunch of little parts, and I would never peel them off one at a time and put them onto something. Ugh, that just makes my skin crawl thinking about it. But yeah, with these bigger, it's all one piece, that should be fine. All right, check back in here. Husband loved Halloween too. And, I'm sorry to hear that. Held on just not to ruin our favorite holiday. Consider it. Yeah. Resin has been a trend for a few years. I know I started watching resin videos at least 5 years ago, because it was a couple years before COVID. And I've made some resin jewelry, and I've bought a bunch of resin molds, and I've yet to use actual 2-part epoxy resin, but I watch a lot of people do it so that I don't make those mistakes. There's actually there is a maker that I watch. He's from the UK, and he does wood turning on a lathe and a bunch of resin stuff. And he's kind of crazy. He runs Maker Central, that is a big maker show in the UK. And but he messes up. I feel like every he puts out at least a video a week, and I feel like every third video is a successful project. It's like you cannot be afraid to fuck something up, right? Like, you just can't be, because then you'll never do it. So applause for that. But I swear, some of the things that he's like, we're gonna try this out and see if it works, and I'm like, bro, no, it's not gonna. Like, why? He did a project using. Oh, this one's not quite. All right, this is the first one I'm like not super stoked about because it's a little far down from the top, but it's still chill, still cool with it. He did a project using, what's it called? Not acoustic foam, but it's like shadow foam. So it's the kind of thing when you are making like a shadow box and you want to or you're using like a toolbox and you want to have exact cutouts for each like screwdriver. Like, that's one of the examples he showed. You can get this foam on Amazon that is like shadow box foam and cut out like with an X-Acto knife around where the pieces you want it to be exact. So I think it's really good for like camera equipment and things that you really don't want to move around in their case, and do that. So so he was doing a project and he wanted to see like if he could add resin to this shadow box foam and make something out of it. And he's talking about it and doing it, and I'm just looking at this like, oh man, this is not going to work. Like, the foam, I've seen enough videos that the foam is just going to soak up the resin and it's not going to really work right. And sure enough, it didn't work. Like, he had to scrap it. And it was like just a waste. And I go look up this foam on Amazon. It's not cheap. It is actually quite expensive. And I'm like, all right, man, like, your whole job is making videos. And so you clearly have like the money to do this, and it's still content and it's still great. And you're going to make money on this video, and good for you. And I'm not hating on you, but man, that was an expensive mistake. Like, whoo, I am nowhere near that point where I could just be like, oh yeah, I screwed this whole thing up with hundreds of dollars worth of material. So, meh, Whew. All right, that one like also got a little screwy, but not terrible. Not terrible. Thank you, Mrs. Hoglaw, so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Very much enjoy conversing with you on Twitter, and very much enjoy your addition to Hoag's Hangouts and Headlines and all of that stuff. I can never see them. I can never be live in the chat there because it is way too early on the West Coast for that, but I watch them every day. Thank you. Happy game playing. And, let me know when you get the buttons I sent. Just saying. I know Rob got his. So they've made it as far as Virginia. They should have made it to Michigan. I've not seen any of Rob's law and lumber videos working on wood projects. He has not, to my knowledge, done one yet. But he did do a video where he was making a Lazy Susan with Joe from Good Logic. And it was a wooden base. Wood was involved, but it was definitely more of a resin project than a wood project. I think he was going to I think he was going to film some of the stuff he's making for his nieces and nephews. That looked cute. Like the little... I still need to like snoop around his Instagram and find a picture of the little Adirondack chairs he keeps talking about, because that sounds adorable. And the little desks that he's making for his nieces and nephews like are very cute. And I've seen the picture of the little picnic table. It's adorable. But just, I don't know why, the idea of little toddler-sized Adirondack chairs is just delightful. I love it. So, yeah. I think he might be filming some of that. All right. So what we are down to now is really this. I think what I'm going to do... I dropped something over there. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is move these around on this page so that I can put the clear over it. And then I will show you some of the stuff that I have already added to the car. And then we will be out because I won't be able to take the camera with me out to the van to put all this on. But I will absolutely take pictures of it on the van and post those to the interwebs. Probably both my Instagram and my Twitter. My Instagram is here. There you go. TrishaLyn Gifts. Actually, I'll put it on both my Instagrams. I have a personal Instagram, which is just TrishaLyn03, because I didn't get on Instagram fast enough years ago to get just TrishaLyn. And I've asked that person to give it to me and never heard back. So, TrishaLyn Gifts is where I post more of the stuff that I make, that I sell, but I will be posting this stuff there too, just for good measure. And does it have a tailgate latch? Maybe? I think so? I don't 100% know. Honestly. I think it does. It has a power lift tailgate. I'm not sure. I did also, we were talking about Wish and Wish's issues with copyright. I did buy a few things for the van on Wish that have no copyright problems. They're just blue accessories. That I was like, these are just like little tiny details that if I get them and they're crap, they're crap. But if I get them and they're amazing, they're amazing. Like little blue shiny caps for the air in the tires. I'm just like, whatever. We're going whole hog on that. Okay. I think if I do that, it should be about right. All right. That worked out great. There's some bubbling, but it is easily coming out. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. We're fine. Oh, the Ecto 1 above the latch. It's going to go in the center of the back window. I don't want to put any decals onto the paint on the car itself. I will show you in a second. I put a decal onto a magnet and put the magnet on the gas cap. And again, it was only because I bought this. I bought the No Ghost logo magnet years ago from Spirit Store. In fact, it was 2016. I can tell you that because that is it's in the print on the on the magnet, but it way faded, like faded horribly. And so I still had the magnet part of it, but it was just super faded. And then I had a decal that I bought online some years ago that was the No Ghost logo. And so because the magnet was cut out, to the general shape of the logo, I just kind of centered it on there and put the decal onto the magnet and then put that onto the car. Let me just cut this. Alrighty. All right. This one, this was super easy because it's, a shape and you just kind of line it up and you got the clear around it. This one's a little trickier. So cross your fingers, cross your toes, hold your breath, make a wish, count to 10. So this is interesting because I'm trying to peel off just the vinyl and the paper backing is trying to come off. It didn't do that on the other ones. Aha, there we go. Ooh, okay. I need to peel up over here so that I'm getting, there we go. All right. So I think with this, if I just kind of place it generally down here in what seems like an even fashion, it should work. Okay. I'm trying to find, I was trying to find the other one. Oh, no. Okay. It's stuck at the bottom. I was trying to find, the big scraper. So that I can do just one big pass. Oh, no. Okay, that worked. Except for this little part. Oh, shit. And I think it is far too adhered already for me to fix without the printing getting jacked. It's just, oh, son of a bitch. All right. You see how it got a little folded up here? Shit. And I think, where's the weeding tool? I think because this is printed underneath it, I'm not going to be able to get it up without it peeling up like ink. But I'm going to try and hope it doesn't just totally screw it up. Oh. It's going to totally screw it up. All right. It just is. It just is. It's fine. From here, you can't even tell. It's just going to be on the back window and look freaking amazing. Amazing. I am very happy with how this came out. I'm happy with the edges. That is annoying. But you know what? This is the thing too. If it annoys me too damn badly, I can fix it. I can redo it. I don't want to, especially not right now. But in 6 months, if it's really bugging me, I'll just fix it. Okay. So let's land this stream. Thank you so much, Mrs. Hoglaw and Lisa, for the pleasant conversation, and Dr. Riley for stopping by. Anyone else who stopped by and was watching for a while and I didn't see because I was busy over here doing my faceless stream today. I appreciate all of you coming by. And let me just show you briefly the other things that I have in and around the car for the theming. So one of the first things that I bought was a lightning cable for my phone, so that I could, I have lightning cables, obviously, but I wanted something a little special for the Stay-Puft marshmallow van. So I got this. Can you see it? You can see it. All right. So I got this. It lights up. It looks a little like the streams that you don't want to cross, but it makes me happy. It's short. I also, so this is what I was saying, the decal on the magnet on the gas cap. And that was, I think, the first thing I was able to put on the car because I had it on hand, and everything else I had to order. Let's do this. Excuse me, while I slideshow this for you. The next thing was I got these. So my car, and maybe because it was a rental, did not have floor mats. Weird. So I bought these floor mats on Amazon. Very cool. They enhanced the theme. That was kind of my goal with a lot of this stuff, was I'm not going to be able to find Ghostbuster floor mats, so I just want to enhance the theme. So yeah, so there's these. That is the actual patch. I showed it a little bit earlier, that I used some museum jelly stickers to hold right above all the buttons there. And then so that's the steering wheel cover I have currently. It slips off kind of a lot, and so I am returning it and buying a different one that's black and blue. It's less blue, more black and blue. But it was a cheap, $10 fabric thing, and so I figured I'll try it. If I don't like it, I'll return it. So I'm returning that one. Okay, so this I paid $35 for. Somebody on Etsy was selling it. How amazing is that? It's fantastic. And like her Etsy store, the listing actually had a video of her making it. And so that's what actually sold me to buy it, because like the little hat actually has stuffing in it. Like all of this is like so well cut and stitched. It's fantastic. And I was like, it's probably like the most expensive thing I'm going to buy for this car. It was more expensive than the floor mats. And that was a 4-pack of floor mats, but it's just, it's so fantastic. It's just great. And then, oh no. Okay. So I got this little guy. I already had this. The other is just the No Ghost logo, from a keychain, from a lanyard that I bought again at Spirit Halloween a few years ago. So, but this little Lego guy was another Etsy purchase, and he's just very, very cute. And then, yeah, so that's the No Ghost. And there's me. Hi. So this was the other thing I crafted for the car. I wanted seat covers, but I could not find seat covers that I really liked. So what I did was I made these. So that was it in progress, gluing, and that is it actually in the car. So what I did was I bought bibs. I bought baby bibs because I was trying to piece this together and DIY something as kind of lazily as I could. And I have made in the past my own Stay-Puft costume, and I made the Stay-Puft collar and the red thing and the hat and everything. I didn't feel like doing that again for the car, so I bought the baby bibs and the ribbon and put them on. And yes, Lisa, t-shirts are great seat covers, and these seats are leather. And I, as a lady of size, wear a lot of shorts, and in the summer, this seat is hot as fuck. So yeah, I need to do something. I ordered, like I said, I ordered some stuff on Wish that's just like little things. And one of those was a seat, like just the cover, like just where you sit pad. But I do have some t-shirts in mind if it gets real dicey to do that. You are so welcome. I am happy to answer questions and talk to people and not just sit here talking to myself while I do this. So thank you so much for riding with me for this 2-hour and 40-minute stream. And that's why we're landing this. We're bringing this back to being landed. And yeah, like, that's adorable. There are so many Stay-Puft costumes now. And when I made my Stay-Puft costume years ago, it was like 2015, 2013, maybe. It was a while ago. All I did was kind of the same theory. Like, I DIY'd as little as possible. So it's really just white, like, palazzo pants and a white long sleeve shirt. And then I bought a hat that I had to, like, fix up and make and put the Stay-Puft letters on and change out the ribbons on top so it was red. And I made the overlay, the collar with felt and stuff. So it, I made as little as possible and bought as much as I could. And it's a little more of like a like Disney bounding. It's a little more like I'm Disney bounding as the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man. But you know what? It's close enough. So the other thing that I did was I have these little mini puffs, and I decided to kind of they're currently on my desk, and they sit like under my computer monitor. But I'm gonna just kind of put them around the car in various places. So this one is on top of my rear view, and it's not blocking my my view in any kind of way. It's just chilling, eating its candy bar. And oh nope, that's the same video y'all saw earlier. All right, so that is all of it. And I am not savvy enough with StreamYard to find the Stay-Puft costume and show you. But thank you so much for coming by, for checking out while I made this stuff. And once again, I will show off the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Van. And what did you do, Ray? What did you do? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe on your way out. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.